Hello everybody and welcome back. And in last week's video we covered about the Israelites and how they were tested but from God in Exodus 15th chapter 22nd to 25th verse, and during the travel of Egypt to the promised land. Also we see how and read about how God provided their needs for thirsty, and they learned a lesson though by giving this water to them at the same time as they learned the lesson of do not grumble. They learned it. But God provided the instruction as well for the Israelites this time, and after he provided the grace, we understand. But let us read this final verse of Exodus 15th chapter once again, just to jog our memory of what we did last week. So it says, Then Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. He threw it into the water, and the water became fit to drink. There the Lord issued a ruling and instruction for them and put them to the test. So it says that the Lord here has issued a ruling and instruction for them, like specifically said, and put them to the test. Here we see, and that if we listen carefully, the 26th verse, if you read now, it says, He said, if you listen carefully to the Lord of your God and do what is right in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands and keep all his decrees, I will not bring on you any diseases I brought on Egypt, for I am the Lord who heals you. He is saying, if you do not keep my commandments or rules or what he says, or commandments, basically, God is saying that they will be punished like the Egyptians did from the 10th plague, we understand. Since if they disobey God's ways or don't follow his commandments or show no hope or lose hope, they will suffer these consequences just like the Egyptians did. Then we read the 27th verse. This is where we start today's topic, where it says, Then they came to Elam, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there near water. So then we see the instruction is very clear to deliver the trust in God who is in control, and show your obedience towards him as your free will, and then you will be blessed. But if you do not show this faithfulness, God will show you the same judgment he did to the Egyptians. Then, after this incident had happened, we are going to a different place from Mara, which was the place of no water or bitter water. Then he led the Israelites to Elam, we understand, and where they find the blessing after this trial, such a fertile place with 70 palm trees and 70 wells, we understand. And now we can see though they failed in Mara, God provided them Elam so they can get this water for them to survive. But this time though, it's a warning. And we understand though, this Elam place is not like any place. It's like, let's say you're in the summer period and you're living in a fridge. It's that relaxing, and you're in the desert. There's got 70 palm trees, 7 wells for the people to survive, the Israelites to survive. God has provided them this place this time. But why is what we need to understand. Because last time, when they were in Mara, it was not a fertile place to God at all. Where they failed though. And this time though, God is testing them again, and there's a warning. So we're going to continue to read about what this says. And we're going to read the 16th chapter till the 3rd verse. The whole Israelite community set out from Elam and came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai. On the 15th day of the 2nd month after they had come out of Egypt in the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat, and they ate all the food we wanted. But you have brought us to this desert to starve this entire assembly to death. This incident happened next month after they started from Egypt, we understand. After they started from Egypt, once again, after they started from Egypt against the Israelites, start to grumble once again, just like this. But this time it's about food, since they've not got enough food and all they've got is water to take with them to survive, and they're now grumbling that they don't have any meat or something to survive. And in this portion, the situation that they're in has made them forget everything God has provided them to gain his blessing. And they again show their true mindset, which they have as a backup compared to the state that he had in Egypt was better, they're saying, better than the current situation. This is the weakness of flesh, we understand, because they're hungry due to the situation that they're now in. They make them forget everything God has done, just like with the not getting enough water. Now, since they're not getting enough food, they're complaining about this, since they say, you know, their travels now, just because we've got this water doesn't mean they're surviving. They're starting to complain and grumble once again. So we understand once again, the third time, they ignored God here, who is in control, and grumbled and tested God once again. We understand, despite the warning that was shown very clearly after the test of the Mara, the Israelites still do the same mistake. They're saying if you do not follow or trust in God or prove who's in control and show the obedience to him, you will end up like the Egyptians did. After the 10th plague, they still grumble just because the situation has taken over. The fleshly mindset has taken over, and they start to completely forget what God had completely did and the test they gave them and the strength and blessing God has given them. And now they're starting to grumble just because they haven't got any food once again while traveling to Elam, which we know is the place which is full of fertile land. So we understand how this mistake once again, they grumble despite all the messages, the blessings, the instructions God had given to them in Mara and before. But still they continue to disobey. And the miracles, we understand. They still continue to grumble just due to the weakness of their flesh, which is telling them to forget God and follow the situation and work towards the flesh and start to grumble. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. See you next time. Bye.